Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Citadel, 40 banks. They just ran a 4-hour live test of blockchain-based trading. Tell us a little bit about that, and tell us a little bit about how Stellar fits into that.
Yeah, I think the tokenization piece and what's happening with, tokenization of real world assets, of bank deposits, of even insurance, you think about everything as being tokenized today. And I think for the most part, people are realizing that blockchain actually really helps to make that happen. Having the banks involved, this is the thing that's interesting about if you combine it with Clarity. Everybody's already doing this. Like Clarity is not going to make this so that it opens up the floodgates. The floodgates have already opened. Everybody wants to do it. We have an SEC and a CFTC that are engaged in helping us to move forward with all of these things. The reason why we need Clarity is because we need Clarity in case there's a flip and the Democrats take the White House later. That's what Clarity would do for us. But right now we have all of these players already involved.
And Chris, maybe from you, as you're now the head of Franklin Crypto and you're thinking about sort of the product suite that you can bring to market, how does this convergence between AI and crypto influence those products that you're thinking of pushing out?
I mean, it's an incredibly exciting time. I couldn't think of a more exciting time. We're seeing institutions come into the space. For the last 5 years, we all had risk in operating in crypto. Now they have risk for not being in crypto. Mm-hmm. And their boards are giving them, leaning into them saying, what are you doing in this space? What are you doing in this space? And so it's incumbent upon people like us to say, okay, here are some strategies that can navigate you in accordance with your needs. Maybe you're looking for a directional exposure. Maybe you're looking for a market neutral exposure. Maybe you're looking for venture because venture remains a very foundational strategy. Or maybe you're looking for something innovative, maybe in the private credit space, who knows? But our job is to listen to them and to deliver to them at a time when fundamentals continue to improve, sentiment continues to be awful, which is like the best investing climate possible.
What is going on? Welcome back to another CYPRX video breakdown. I'm going to pause it right there. You all just heard Christopher Perkins. He is the head of crypto at Franklin Templeton, and he just said that now institutions are shifting from there was a risk being in crypto to now there is a risk not being in crypto. He also mentioned that we had a fear-based environment and institutional interest at an all-time high, the perfect environment to get into this space. I mean, wow, what a time to be alive. Over $500 billion added to the total cryptocurrency market cap in just 3 days. I want to really show you guys some just video clips from recent panel discussions to get your mind around how much money could really potentially flood into the space and what these institutions think is going to happen. This is not a retail perspective. This is going to be information coming directly from people that work at large institutions. So you all just heard Chris Perkins. This is from the Wyoming Blockchain Symposium in 2026 that took place. And considering that he comes from Franklin Templeton, I want you all to listen again to what Sandy Call says. Now, Sandy Call predicts a 10x this cycle from current market cap. That's about $20 trillion on the low end and about a $40 trillion market cap on the high end. Take a second and listen.
So at a moment where we are hoping to get more regulatory clarity, not to be ironic.
Yes.
And I think, we're in a little bit of a crypto winter. So we're using that at Franklin Templeton as a real opportunity to bring more talent onto the platform and to really think about what does this next wave of growth, what is that going to look like? Where is that going to come from?
Yep.
And I think that we're very, very optimistic about where we see this next wave, right? I think that we got up to about 4 trillion in this last bull market. I think we're going to see multiples of that move into crypto. We could get 20, 30, maybe even north of that in terms of total money moving into the ecosystem.
So there's Sandy Call's prediction, and that mirrors something that Chris Perkins said. Now I'm starting to think to myself, like, why on earth, what are people from Franklin Templeton and what meetings are they having that are making them say these outrageously high numbers? Now, are they outrageously high, or is this just really how big traditional finance is? And the answer to that is yes, it is. The money that is about to come into crypto, as unfathomable as it seems, is actually how big and how large the traditional markets already are. And everything is about to come on chain. So thinking that the market could go to 20, 30, 40, 50 trillion dollars is not unrealistic at all whatsoever. And I think it would actually be negative to bet against that. It would probably behoove the average retail investor to bet for that happening because the opportunity is immense here. Listen to what Chris Perkins says at the blockchain symposium that coexists with what Sandy Call said, and listen to what he thinks is coming for crypto, which is like 5x of what Sandy Call's high prediction was.
A little bit more towards the tokenization side and the integration in terms of institutions. Tell us about your guys' approach there. What do you guys see with the future of tokenization?
So crypto has been exporting a lot of products to mainstream traditional finance. People don't think about it through that lens. One of the things we've exported is 24/7 markets. You know, we've been living it for years. Traditional minds are like, we've been exporting new products, things like prediction markets, things like perpetuals. And I think one of the biggest exports is this thing called tokenization, which unlocks 24/7 markets. This is a very big deal. And let me tell you how big a deal it is. Equity markets are about $127 trillion in size. Fixed income markets, about $145 trillion in size. I, as a fiduciary, if I wanted to trade a tokenized equity or a regular old equity, as a fiduciary, I have to trade the token if the liquidity is the same and those risks are handled, right? And what you're seeing right now is that institutions are moving into the space. They're taking care of the cyber risks. They're taking care of all the other compliance risks. And you're going to be left with a token, and eventually, it's not if, but it's when that has about the same, maybe a little less liquidity, it's going to shift overnight. Because when Donald Trump invades Venezuela on a Friday night, I need to be owning that token because I have to manage my risk. When Epic Fury starts on a Saturday, same thing. I always have to choose the token. And so I honestly don't understand these predictions about, tokenized market's going to be 3 trillion in 5 years or whatever. I think it's going to go from 0 to 127 trillion as soon as you have that liquidity. So you'll see it edge along and then up. Is this simply a better product? It's like electronification.
He just said, you're going to see it edge along and then up. He snapped his fingers and said he believes $127 trillion is coming. Now, I'm going to go outright and say that I want to be a market participant when that happens, and I would rather take the risk now that my portfolio could go to 0 rather than say I didn't take the risk later and miss out on the opportunity, if that makes sense. Now, not the last bullish thing that was said on stage. This individual representative from a private family office background goes on to talk about how the wealth of family offices and private wealth is coming to crypto and has never been able to, invest in crypto. And for the first time ever, that is about to come, which is about to be another wave of capital alongside institutional demand. Take a second here and listen.
How quickly does this end up in end client portfolios? How quickly does this mean that you are recommending, hey, we need to go into the tokenized version of this instead of the non-tokenized version?
From a recommendation standpoint, very quickly. From an infrastructure standpoint, that is still what's being built. So, Chris was mentioning earlier, the problem is not really demand, right? We have demand for these types of assets and portfolios, and we've even had many conversations here at the conference with firms that have very large advisor networks that are saying, we're getting this demand, we're hearing from our advisors, they've got these large net worth clients that want to allocate to crypto, and they don't have a way to do it. Tokenization is not, that problem is being solved, that infrastructure is being built, those markets are coming online, which is great. How do you actually allocate to them? That is the missing last mile. How does an advisor or anybody in the wealth management space sit down, actually put those assets into a portfolio that requires an operational backend and billing and reporting and compliance that all does not exist today? I was having, some really good conversations with some of the big tokenization firms that are here. And I heard verbatim, still have to have a means to distribute those tokenized assets. Somebody has to buy them and put them in a portfolio. And so that's really what we're focused on is where are the rails? What is the infrastructure that allows the wealth management community to actually engage in this? We've done our own market research that showed that 70% of high net worth families would allocate to crypto. And of those that were not, 99% of them said the number one reason they're not allocated to crypto today is because they don't have an advisor that will do it for them. That is meaningful. That infrastructure layer, is what we're focused on at DAG. And that to me is going to unlock massive pools of money into the space.
Bill,
So she said that 90% are interested in allocating to crypto. They just don't have a way to do it yet. So imagine when they do. You get what I'm saying? That's why I'm thinking these numbers that these people are throwing out, they know something that the average person does not, or they wouldn't just be saying them out of their rear end. So take that all into consideration. It's not financial advice, but over the past 3 days alone, we did see $500 billion of market cap added back to the crypto ecosystem. And it is my firm belief that in the coming years ahead, that is going to become the normal.
There's kind of this, the young people don't believe in traditional institutions. Yeah, that's very clear. And they're kind of, they don't follow any fundamental rules for PE. It's like picking stocks. Everything's a meme, including SpaceX.
Yeah.
And the memes just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So, and it brings sporadic, gigantic liquidity with it wherever it goes. You know, so it'll be fascinating. I don't know what year that is, but there's going to be a couple years from now, it's just going to go kaboom, and all fundamentals are off.
And I want to be a part of that kaboom. Something to consider, food for thought as we head into the weekend. Blessings to you guys and gals. If you enjoyed, do us that favor, smash that thumbs up button, subscribe. I feel like this is one of those videos that you could share with a friend or family member. So if you do, we would love it. We'd appreciate it. As always, be cognizant, be aware out there, and I'll see you all in the next video breakdown.